watch and burn.
Hey everybody. So tonight I want to discuss George Lucas's THX 1138. And the main reason that I wanted to discuss this movie was because I always felt that this world deserved to be put under a Lucas magnifying glass like he did with Star Wars. I mean, he did a really good job with Star Wars, but I felt that this was sort of seen as his student film that he then, that materialized into his first full-length feature debut. And you can tell that there's a lot of care and concern poured into this, especially how they've set up a god by the name of Om, and how they're buying those pointless cubes that they just purchased in the one place, and then they walk to the next and redeposit them, which is like the smartest reference to how pointless and endless our need to consume is. And of course, this movie came out back in like 70 or 71. And I just love those red and blue and like the multicolored cubes that you actually see THX or THX. You see THX buy at one point. And it's literally the room that he bought it from is next to the room where you redeposit them. And I loved that. And I loved how claustrophobic this world was. And I loved how everything took place underground. Of course, you didn't know that at the beginning. You weren't exactly sure where they were. But at the film's conclusion, when THX or THX is saying, fuck this, I'm getting out of here, and he's climbing out, and he ends up on the surface of this world or whatever world they're on, you realize just how far down this society is happening. Everything, their entire lives are taking place it's like it reminds me of Portal 2 specifically. Like you're so far down. Yeah, J.K. Simmons, his voice comes on. He's like, hey, come on, sign up and let us toss some science stuff into you and we'll give you a crisp $50 bill. You're going to become like a superhuman. And Portal 2 rather, takes place way down somewhere. And so that's what I loved about this too, was that sort of like that cave-like sense of claustrophobia. It felt like I was in like NORAD or some shit. And I love how his domestic partner, LUH, or Le, she works surveillance, so she's keeping her eye on THX and everybody else. And THX's job is he creates the police officers that control them. And again, this was just such a brilliant and such a simple yet brilliant way to sort of skewer our society, or Western society as a whole. Like, you've got the one roommate watching everything everybody does, including her roommate, and you have the other roommate building the police officers that control everything. Every aspect of your life is being controlled by the robots that you spend all day making. And they're drugged up to the eyeballs so that they don't get emotional. You're not allowed to have sex. You're not allowed to feel any sort of emotional connection and involvement. You're not allowed to feel for anything. And that is, of course, due to the massive course of drugs that they have people on. And I thought that was amazing, too. And I loved when THX is finally arrested and he's tossed into that prison room, I guess. It's like, and it's so big and it's so sprawling and it's endless. And despite its size, there was that sense of claustrophobia kicking in again. Like, yeah, you could wander away from their little detention area where him and Donald Pleasence were, but where are you going to wander to exactly? It just never ends. And then when they finally find that massive room where all of the other people are making that massive sort of herd circle, that was absolutely terrifying. And I love this movie. I just wish that Lucas had chosen to make a THX 1138-2, I guess, be a good way of framing it, because I just wanted to see more of this world. And I hated it. Like when I was a kid, I used to rent this from the library in Pickering. And I really thought the first time through, when he was leaving, when he was climbing out and the police officers are like, oh, we have to go back now. Are you sure you don't want to come with us? And THX is like, look, you guys shut down LUH, who I was kind of falling in love with. She's a baby again, so fuck this shit. I'm getting out of here. And he climbs to the surface. I was like, yeah, we're going to get to see this world that they're a part of. And then the movie ends. And it was really disappointing. I felt the same way about this as I did at the end of Lucio Fulci's Zombie. They spend the whole fucking movie on that island. And the island was cool, and the zombies were scary. They looked amazing. And then you see them swarming New York, coming over the bridges and everything. And it's like, you hear the radio broadcast saying, they're everywhere, we need help. And I'm like, yeah, the movie's fucking taking off. And my girlfriend's like, how long do you think this movie is, dude? This movie's over. It was the same thing here. I just wish that we'd seen more of this world, But I guess that's over with, because I don't know. Does Disney own THX 1138 now too? So maybe they can, what the fuck was that? So maybe they can come along and fuck that up as well? I don't know. I'm pretty sure Lucas doesn't own it anymore. But anyways, look, I'm going to stop talking about this. So thank you so much for hanging out with me for about 5.5 minutes while I discuss George Lucas's first feature film from way back, I believe in 1971, and that is THX 1138. Like always, if you like this review, or you like this movie, or you agree with my point about wanting to see more of this world, and it's a shame that Lucas had never developed it further, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. But please, most importantly, don't forget that the world is actually a better place because you are in it. I'm going to go. Have a good night.